Hey guys, what's up? Shadolance back for another video. Today I wanted to elaborate on another comment I was left in my video recently about shallow game modes. I had another guy named Insightful drop me a very good comment that I actually find quite insightful. And although I agree with some of his points and disagree with others, I just want to put this up here for you guys to see and then talk about some of his points that he has. He says, after rewatching your video, from what I can take away, I think the modes they should focus on most, in no particular order, are Elim/Elim Pro, OMA, Search and Destroy for competitive, Capture the Flag, a classic of many FPS games, Quarantine, backed by the entire core community, of course, which is enormous, by the way. Hunted, although he thoroughly enjoyed the survival type mode, and VIP Escort, which also has its roots in competitive FPS games, sorry, right there, which I fail to see why this mode never picked up in CA, and I'm going to actually go over that as well, by the way. Fire Team, which they honestly should do away with unless they have a plan to change the enemy AI, which I agree with the base idea, although I'm also going to cover that today as well, to actually be dynamic based on each game. It's kind of how Left 4 Dead 2 runs are never the same, and that's actually a great point. I will be going over that. So there's a couple of different points I want to make today. First of all, I'm going to start off with Fire Team, because that's the one that by far needs the most attention in terms of, like, how broken it is right now. Fire Team needs to be reworked from the ground up. I mean, tear down Cabin Fever, tear down Black Lung, tear down the strike missions, tear everything apart. We don't need them. They do not work fundamentally. The AI is goddamn awful. The maps are not creative, and they're just really not that special. And I feel like a lot of the mechanics that go into it, like the poison being outside of Cabin Fever, is a little bit too much, especially early on and also in easier modes. Like if you're playing on the easiest difficulty, the poison outside shouldn't be a thing. That should only be on the most difficult modes in like later rounds and stuff. There's a bunch of little things like that just make the modes very, very rigid and not very good feeling to play. They're not fun. That's why they fundamentally feel different from other Fire Team type games, but we need to work Fire Team from the ground up. That being said, I still like the idea of having only two different types of Fire Team modes. I like the idea of having the zombies, and I like the idea of having the strike missions, and you can have different types of zombie modes, and you can have different types of strike modes, but that's the idea, where you just stick with strikes and zombies. That's the best thing. What I'm calling strikes, by the way, guys, are like Desert Thunder and Desert Fox. It's those kind of things where you're fighting against human AI that shoots back at you. That's the really important part. The next thing I want to go over may seem like it's a small thing, but think about Capture the Flag for a second. Capture the Flag is one of the most basic modes of any first-person shooter online game. First-person shooters need to have a mode where you can compete over certain points that are in the enemy spawn, something that you need to go into enemy territory, retrieve, or do something, whether it's plant a bomb, capture a flag, and then come back to your base. That's the idea. The idea where you need to infiltrate. That's what Capture the Flag is all about. It is a very core component of most FPSs, and I feel like it really should be in Combat Arms as well. The maps and the way this game is fundamentally designed works very well with Capture the Flag. From the basic mechanics, whether it's like movement, whether it's the way the guns work, holding down lines of sight, CTF works well with Combat Arms, and we need to build on that, but it needs to be reworked from the ground up. There's a couple of things that are fundamentally wrong with the way CTF is working right now. First of all, you don't get any sort of armor boost when you pick up a flag. When you play almost any other kind of Capture the Flag game on any other game, you're going to have some sort of armor boost, some sort of speed boost, some sort of buff to your character when you pick up the flag, so that you're not quite so easily killed. Also, your teammates may spawn a little bit closer to you, so it's easier to get the flag back. However, they don't have any armor boosts. It's just the person with the flag. Let me be very explicit about that. But the point is, CTF needs to be worked up from the ground up. Also, you have some maps like Kill Creek where Capture the Flag clearly does not work. It just does not. Like, you can't have the flags be that close within eyesight of each other. That is stupid. Now, on a map like Sector 25, that's a great one because you have the simple 3-lane. It's very linear. It works. That's a very good Capture the Flag type map, but not on maps like Kill Creek. And I think that's part of the reason that it's not played very much is because the map selection is goddamn awful. And so we need to have an actual Capture the Flag thing, and it could be part of competitive. I know I talked about having a competitive mode the other day for solo players or even for team players. Capture the Flag is a fantastic way to do that. Moving on. Modes we should keep. Elimination, Elim Pro, that's the basis of this entire game. We're not getting rid of that. And honestly, they work fine the way they are, as long as you go over some of the stuff that... I made that video the other day called Why Combat Arms is Old. If you go and fix some of the things in there, obviously the entire game as a whole is going to be buffed, but Elim and Elim Pro will just feel better to play. They'll be a little more crisp and all that good stuff. S&D. S&D should be the primary, like, team competitive thing. That is what it is. Elim Pro and S&D need to make up the majority of what competitive is, because those are the most competitive modes where you have to be coordinated, whereas like if you have elimination, you can just go on a one-man army hunting spree. S&D, that is not the case. It's very tactical. Same with Elim Pro. It's a little more tactical than typical Elim, where you can respawn and correct your mistakes. it's a it's a very mental game is what it is. It's very mind intensive. In S&D even more so, because then you have to worry about defending a single point where you're attracting everyone else on the map to you, or your team has to figure out how they're going to attack a single point. It's very mental. It's a very psychological game. It's a really good one to play, and it's great for competitive. Then there's Core, and Core is just so well established in this game. If I didn't think Combat Arms was the way it was, or if you just told me what Combat Arms was from a standpoint, I would think Core was a terrible idea, but for whatever reason, Core is amazing in this game. It's very well put together, and I don't think anything really needs to be changed. That being said, I'm not a big Core player, so there could be little things I'm not very aware of, things that are slightly more overpowered or need to be nerfed and buffed. That's not what I'm going over today. The mode as a whole works well. I like the way that Core works fundamentally. And then there's Capture the Flag. We should keep Capture the Flag. I just went over that. Now, modes we should get rid of, and I know this is probably going to light a few people off. Let me get all the way through my explanation of this. We need to get rid of Hunted and VIP Escort as they are now. Now, here's why I say that. I don't think that the way we have them now works very well for a couple of reasons. First of all, they are not widely expanded on. We have a very limited number of maps we can put into, and also it takes a lot of work to make new maps for those because there's a lot of mechanics that need to go into those maps and playing those modes, and so it takes a very long time to develop new maps. I'm also going to say Blood Money fits into this category. I know that's not really VIP Escort, but Hunted, VIP Escort, and Blood Money all fit into this category. Where you have maps that are still PvP, it's not PvE like you have Fireteam games, but you have these PvP maps that require these insane freaking mechanics that most of the other modes in the game don't support really, or are not reused. So unless they're willing to put the time into making one of these modes really great, these three modes need to be removed from the game. However, they can be revitalized or revived or put into the game in another way that I will get to in just a second here. What we need added though is an escort type mission. Now I know I just said get rid of VIP Escort. Hold your horses there. When I say what we need added is an escort type mission, I'm thinking Overwatch. I'm thinking a game where you have an inanimate object, not a person who has a really stupid AI. We're talking about a simple track moving object that you can escort. That is a very simple thing, and I would fit that under the strikes idea. And now, hear me out here. This is where we have strikes. You go in with an 8-person team. 4 people are set on offense and 4 people are set on defense, and that's the idea. And it works basically the same way where if you're standing on the payload or you're standing on whatever you're trying to escort, the truck or whatever, it's moving, and when you're not standing on it, it's not moving. And it's very simple, very easy to do. It's very linear, which is what a lot of Fireteam type modes are, where if you look at all these strike missions like Desert Fox and Desert Storm, Desert Thunder, whatever it's called, you go on a very linear path in order to get to the final boss, in order to complete the stage. That's what this would be, and that's why it's different fundamentally from VIP Escort, or it's still very arena styled. VIP Escort does not work very well because you create an arena style and you have to protect a very stupid AI. That does not mix well at all. Escort type missions are different because you have a very linear path that people are competing over single points on that linear map over a period of time. And although that's going to invite a lot of sniper rifle use and stuff like that where you can see down long alleys and such, that's going to be for Nexon to figure out. That's not our job. But this is something that would be really nice to have in the game because it's a very nice competitive mode. Anyway, what needs to be expanded on? I'm coming back to this thing about getting rid of Hunted and VIP Escort and Blood Money and what we're going to do to fix that. So what needs to be expanded on? I'm going to go ahead and say zombie modes, dead water, and strike missions. And I know dead water is really a zombie mode, but if you think about it, it's fundamentally different from the way Cabin Fever and Black Lung work, where you're confined to a small area, whereas like on dead water, you're actually trying to accomplish a task. And I think that's really cool. I think dead water is one of the coolest concepts we have in the game, and it fits very well with Combat Arms. It just works, and we need to have more stuff like that. I want to go do that on the side of a mountain where we can set up turrets and stuff. I want to go do that in the middle of a giant oil rig out in the water that's a little bit different from dead water because then you have to worry about like gas cans exploding and stuff like that. I want to go do that like in the middle of a ravine where you have like rocks that fall down and do stuff like that. I want to go do cool stuff like that. That would be fun for dead water. Or even if it wasn't zombies, imagine you have terrorists coming in and you have like a team of 8 people who's surviving and these terrorists are just flooding you. That would be so cool if you had a game like that, or if we had a game mode like that. Strike missions, I kind of explained a little bit earlier with the escort type mission thing, where you have strike missions where it's okay to split up the 8 people that you go into game with. It can be 4 on 4 and you can do different rounds, so every round you randomly get assigned to attack or defense and it counts how many you personally win how many times you're on the winning side. That would be really cool if you had something like that. Or even if it was consistent, that would be okay. It's the idea that you go in with 8 people and you randomly get pitted 4-on-4. That's kind of cool. We have something like that in Desert Fox already, where one person randomly gets assigned to whatever, like, being the special guy is. That's pretty cool too. And same with VIP Escort currently, where someone can be randomly assigned to that special like role or whatever. That's really cool. And in zombie modes, I was talking earlier about how Cabin Fever and Black Lung fundamentally suck because the AI is terrible, the map design is bad, and there's not a lot of like leeway in going from easy to normal to hard mode other than the zombies just take more or fewer shots to kill, which also is really stupid how many rounds are in the mode. Just keep it 20 rounds every time, but then just make the difficulty different based on AI, based on the number of zombies that spawn. Still make them hard to kill, that's fine. Maybe instead of having 1-shot kills to the head, maybe make it 2 or 3-shot kills to the head. I don't know. Make things a little bit more difficult in different ways than just saying, oh, you have to kill more zombies now and they have a lot more health. That's really lazy is what it is. We need to see something different fundamentally, and this also goes for graphical updates. I've talked about this in a few videos past. We need some graphical updates for this. That's going to make zombie modes really, really cool. Part of the reason people like playing zombies because it's a very realistic feeling to a survival game because you have that adrenaline rush. You don't really have that in Cabin Fever right now. You have like, oh, there's a massive horde of zombies, better throw a grenade right there. And that's basically it. You don't get that adrenaline rush. You don't turn around and see a zombie in your face and freak out unless maybe it's a tank and you're on low health. You just say like, oh, it's another zombie, better back up because they can't catch up to you anyway. So it's like there's no feeling of that, whereas you have the more realistic graphics. It's a little scarier, and people like play that. The people that's why like zombies and Call of Duty is so successful. It just works. And that's pretty much where I wanted to leave this commentary. I think I've gone over most of the things I intended to go over. If I think of something else, I'd be happy to start a conversation in the comment section below. Other than that, guys, thank you for watching. Please rate, comment, subscribe. Definitely drop your ideas in the comment section below for this video, guys. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this topic. It's a very broad topic, and no way could I ever cover it, even if I had 3 hours to talk. But I definitely wanted to get this stuff out here for today. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Shadolance out.
Round start. Round start. Bravo team wins.